Okay, well, let's go on this journey together. Okay, so here's this Doug Burgum guy um, who is thought to be, hang on a minute, was it? Okay, the vice presidential candidate with Trump. It looks like they might put Trump in there. I don't know. The Blueies, um, the white and blue Dems. Uh, they're going to try their best to do the steal. I'm sure they'll be successful in Wisconsin. They've got this one wrapped up. They were really pissed when Trump won in 2016. And, I mean, it doesn't really matter if there are more votes than people in a district, does it? In addition, I'm very skeptical on the number of votes that come in the northern counties because many of the landowners, that's their second home. But they're so rabidly liberal from Chicago that God knows what they might do. So we have this guy. Now, his appearance for me is a big turnoff. I don't think he's young, attractive, and vibrant. He's got gray and dark hair. It's way too long. His brows are out of control. I'm not he doesn't appear have that appearance of this confident, young, energetic man that's full of really good ideas. We don't know what his ideas are. We don't know anything about him. I suppose what I've heard is nothing that makes me want to rip my hair out. But let's keep this in mind. Trump right now is being pressured. He is being seriously pressured by various groups and handlers to speak a certain way, take certain positions on certain topics, many of which have me so turned off at this point. I hate saying this. Now, this could change, but as of today, I'm staying home. And I have many reasons to do so. I'd literally jump through hoops. And in the April elections here, always there are bad weather, bad problems, this problem, that problem. I mean, it's always a problem, as far as weather. And then it's always a problem as far as waiting. Now, where I have to wait now, which is different from even in 2016, even though it's like 3 blocks away, maybe the 2, 3, you have to wait outside. It's like a city hall, it's like a little civic room. And all the overflow sits outside. I'm not sitting outside in November on crutches. I'm just not. Secondly, I've got for the felony that was committed against me and almost killed me, where I was left to die on the side of the road, which many of you are probably thinking right now, God, why didn't it happen? It's a joke. Jury selection begins October 30th. Isn't that just, and it's 6 hours from where I live. I don't know how many days I'm going to be there. I know that I'm going to be, every time I see this individual, I don't know if she's going to be there or not. Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm going to have to look at this witch all day. Jury selection can be a long day. Okay. Now every time I look at her, I get the dry heaves. So yeah. I don't know how I'm going to, and I just don't like the people so far. I mean, they keep assigning and reassigning DAs and assistant DAs, and then one of them quit, and I had confidence in him. He quit, now he came back, but then the last pretrial hearing, um, he was at a conference for district attorneys. That's what I was told. Are there such things? I mean, I have no confidence in these people. And every time I even get near that place, I get physically, um, I turn colors. I just the whole thing. So I do the absentee thing. I don't trust it here. God, no. I suppose I could. I don't know what would happen. It would probably be changed. My 2022 vote that I jumped through hoops for ended up being disregarded because my name and address, or excuse me, my name and driver's license did not match. Well, that driver's license was issued in, cripes, I think 1977. That number. Oh, come on, give me a break. Or was it 78? I don't know. I flunked my first test. I was born at the end of the year. So I know I got it. I got an A in driver's ed, and we used to have classroom and real time with instructors. I just got nervous. I went the wrong way down a one-way street. No one was there. Every time I drive with a man, though, they always act, except for my dad, because he was telling me what to do the whole time. Um, when he was ill, I was driving him around all over, and he didn't have a problem with my driving. But a lot of people, well, actually, no, my dad never had a problem with it. My brother really doesn't. But most people that drive with me, they absolutely hate driving. Most men, they fucking hate it. They're like, oh my God. When I used to rep, where I'd have to drive the other the head rep around, which was a lot. Maybe once a month, I'd have to take someone around the state. I mean, they'd be hanging on, to any handle they could. So for some reason, that the barcode is on the thing and the whole nine. Okay, they couldn't figure that out. Come on, give me a break. So what I can tell you is, I think this is that Trump is being pressured into picking this guy for some reason, a reason that I do not know yet, that nobody knows, because nobody knows a damn fucking thing about the guy. Now, I've spent a lot of time in North Dakota, recreationally, and driving through. Driving through means shit. I mean, I've stayed there. Spent nights there in campgrounds and hotels, motels, whatever. Where I used to go to. I just haven't been there for a while. Theodore Roosevelt Park, very cool place. It's kind of a hidden gem. Not many people know about it. So he's not doing a very good job at tourism in his state, because there is so much to do and people aren't aware of that. And when you tell people about certain spots, they're like, wow, you're kidding me. I'm like, no. It's actually the North Dakota Badlands are much more exciting than the South Dakota Badlands. Um, South Dakota is a cool place too. I would have preferred Kristi Noem, but she had to f it up with kissing behind to that particular country in the Middle East. First, she does that. That turns and passes a bunch of laws in her state, which is just insane. I mean, you've got Mount Rushmore there. It's the most like American place you could be, where you can express yourself and not feel like. And Wyoming is like that too, where you can express yourself and not feel like people are going to come down on you. Like you can be an American and you don't have to watch your political correctness. You can just come right out and say it. I could tell you things that I've heard at bars once guys start drinking. I mean, comments made, and they're not racist comments, but I mean about political people. You know how they dislike a candidate, and they're loud about it. And like here, you wouldn't be able to do that. You might be able to. I don't know. Um, but this guy, he's Trump is being told to put this guy in clearly because he was told to put Pence in there. I never liked Mike Pence. I followed him when he was in Congress, but there was so much shit swirling about that guy. And then here's the deal: Pence. Okay, what does he do? He goes on. I did a couple videos on this. They're around. He's all over the radio, lying and making up bullshit stories about his voting for Carter and then voting for Reagan when in 1980, which wasn't even possible, or vote. I don't know. He just he catches himself. I never trusted the guy anyway. I never liked the guy. Okay, I thought he was full of shit, and he supported Ted Cruz. Indiana went to Trump. It didn't go to Cruz. And he just was. Pence was stabbing Trump in the back every chance he could get. And and so I'm going to come out and say this. I think that Doug Burgum is an asshole. You want to know why? Because instead of supporting Trump, he goes on a debate stage to try to get the candidacy for excuse me, let me rephrase. He goes on a stage with all those other idiots to try to get a campaign going to beat to overtake Trump. So now Trump decides, oh, I think I like him. Oh, I'm too loud. I'm sorry. Could you tell me how that makes sense? None of those people belong with him as a VP candidate. None of them. They're nuts. They had the gall to do like 3 or 4 debates, and it was silly. There was nothing of substance ever even discussed. But Trump, so he basically stabs Trump in the back by saying, you know what, I think I can beat Trump. I'm going to try to take the Republican nomination. And Trump's like, hey, man, hi, I think I'll choose you as my running mate. And that Ramaswamy guy, the only people that like Ramaswamy are people that are younger. And his hair, where he's got this little point at the top, like Trey Gowdy. Come on, give me a break. These hairstyles guys have today, I don't even know where they come from. Yeah. I passed 2 teenagers on the street maybe an hour ago when I was outside. And oh my God, they smelled so bad. I hope they were doing like playing basketball in the park or something. I don't know. I hope so. I don't know. Or throwing a football around somewhere or something. They were teenagers, or maybe they were like freshmen in college. I don't know. When I walked past them outside and there was a breeze, I could smell them. Their hair looked messy. They looked, like, I don't know. These men don't even try anymore. This guy, no. I mean, he looks scarier than fuck in this picture. So he's born in 56. So he's, what is he, 70? Um, an American businessman and politician serving since 2016 as the 33rd governor of North Dakota. And so he thinks he could have, he decides, hey man, fuck Trump, I'm going to try to run against him. And Trump is like, come on down, you're part of my team. Why? Because someone told Trump to do it. I don't like any of Trump's positions right now. This is Mitt Romney with a few good domestic ideas thrown in. Now he's not even for sending people back. I don't care. Can you go door to door and round up people? Well, I could tell you the neighborhoods where that would probably be possible. For starters, right now, if you're not aware, it's against federal law to even ask a person if they're a citizen. It's against the law. If somebody wants to get a social security card and food benefits and shit, it's illegal for Social Security, for the United States government, and or your local food bank or food share or your local county, it goes by counties here, your county representatives that hand out food stamps and welfare and shit. It is against the law to say if you're a citizen, to ask that person if they're a citizen. That question is exempt. You can thank Obama for that. Oh, but no, it was George W. Bush and his father that did that, and probably Reagan. Uh-huh. All right, let's continue. Let's keep going with this. Let's read this thing. Now, I don't want the guy. I don't trust him. I see a problem because I don't know who he is. I mean, I could think of other people. And then Marco Rubio? No. He's an anchor baby. He's not a natural born citizen. His parents were Cuban. They're refugees here. But that's okay, because we don't look at that anymore. And that goes ditto for the one that's in the VP position right now, too. This is what I'm saying. Everything's been thrown out the window completely. I don't care. You can mince it and dice it and slice it and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I mean, it's just... Okay. So he's a politician serving since 2016. So he came in on the Trump wave. He is among the wealthiest governors in the United States and has an estimated net worth of $100 million, according to Forbes. Yeah, so he got there on his own then, right? Just with the grassroots. And people in Wisconsin that are Democrat, they go fucking nuts when I say this. But Scott Walker, I know for a fact, because I know him from my neighborhood. And I know him like when he was an alderman, when he was a state rep, and then I know him from campaigns. And I'm like, I'm 100% positive that when I first moved to that particular neighborhood and bought that house, I was making more and I had more money, and my husband and I had more money floating around than the Walker household did. I mean, their house was nice. I don't know if it was much bigger than ours, which didn't really matter. All the houses were kind of the same there, but a lot of them were stripped down in the 70s, where they, did a lot, painted over a lot of the stained glass, and they did something weird, and they would just remove it, and they'd start fucking with the interiors of these houses. But where mine was, well, when I sold mine, I know Scott sold his, but I'm sure that I got more than what he sold his for. And he just moved closer to his kids' college, or yeah, no, high school. They went to a Lutheran high school, you know. But I mean, he was just like, he'd gather people together. And I mean, I was in a very, very dim area. And people would stand in the grocery store, and actually Pick and Save, which is now Kroger, but at the time at Pick and Save, they allowed them to stand in like the dairy section, and get people to sign a petition. And I didn't really know him at the time, but I found myself, well, I did know him, but not like I hadn't met him. I ran into him when he was taking a walk once, and I was out walking or jogging, but, and he was always on TV. He was on like a Sunday morning talk show. So I recognized him. He was wearing a suit. He was just walking up and down the block. And I said hi to him. I said, "Hi, Scott." He lived next to a car wash, for fuck's sake. So the guy's got some cash. Oh, who cares? Okay. Burgum was born and raised in Arthur, North Dakota after graduating from college in 1978 and earning an MBA 2 years later. He mortgaged an inherited farmland in 1983 to invest in Great Plains Software in Fargo. Becoming its president in 1984, he took the company public in 97. You gotta be kidding, Great Plains. Great Plains Software. Burgum sold the company to Microsoft for $1.1 billion in 2001. Okay, he's set. Well, working at Microsoft, well, then he was working at Microsoft. Okay, he worked for Microsoft. Ah, he managed Microsoft Business Solutions. He served as board chairman for Australian software company Atlassian and SuccessFactors. He is the founder of Kilbourne Group, a Fargo-based real estate development firm. Also, how much money do you get from the government to build subsidized apartment buildings and put them a bunch of illegals in there? I bet he does. And also is the co-founder of Arthur Ventures, a software venture capital group. I don't like him. That's okay. I just don't like him. For Microsoft. Uh-oh. Bill Gates. Burgum won the 2016 North Dakota gubernatorial election in a landslide. He was reelected by a wide margin in 2020. In 2020, is that unusual for North Dakota to put a Republican in there? No, I don't think so. In June 2023, Burgum launched a campaign for the 2024 Republican presidential nominee. Well, that's what I'm saying. The only reason why he would have run against Trump is because he thought Trump sucked. So what is, hey, I think you suck. Well, hey, why don't you be my partner? Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure you guys think I'm crazy. I don't really think I am, though. I really don't. I've been watching this stuff for many years now. I just don't think I am. I think that we're talking another Mike Pence here. Mike Pence just always he always made my skin crawl. He reminded me of someone that tailored his suits just a bit too tight, thought he was hot shit, even though he wasn't, and probably had coffee breath, maybe smelled of farts. Don't even ask me why I have that impression, but I bet I'm right. Burgum won the 2016 North Dakota gubernatorial election. It isn't. Oh yeah, okay. I'm sorry, I read that paragraph. He ended his candidacy early in 2023. What would have made you do that? And became an advisor. I'd say he's playing Trump. Don't trust this man. Don't trust this man. And then he got married in 2016. I guess, was that before the election or after? Uh, so he was born in August 156 in Arthur, North Dakota, where his grandfather founded a grain elevator in 1906. The company evolved into an agribusiness that the family still owns. He is the son of Catherine Nee Kilborn and Joseph Boyd Burgum. Why do I not like this guy? Kilborn. During his freshman year in high school, Burgum's father died. He later said the experience shaped him as a person for many years. Okay. Well, shit happens. I don't mean to be a bitch, but I've lost people before their time, too. Uh, as a college student, he started a chimney sweeping business. Well, instead of going to work for one of the, okay, whatever, it's fine. Is that supposed to make him folksy? He was accepted to study at the Stanford Graduate School of Business. Well, do you think your money had anything to do with that? While there, he befriended Steve Ballmer, who became CEO of Microsoft. He received his MBA from Stanford's Graduate School of Business in 1980. Who is Steve Ballmer? He's the owner of the Los Angeles Clippers, of the NBA. He is also co-founder of the Ballmer Group, a philanthropic investment company. Oh, his personal net worth is, so this is his connection. Seventh richest person in the world. Well, I guess, there's money there then, right? And, I don't, Ballmer was hired by Bill Gates in 1980. He subsequently left the MBA program at Stanford, eventually became president in 1988, replaced Gates as CEO in January 2013. And Ballmer retired as CEO, was replaced by Satya Nadella. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Uh, his tenure at Microsoft CEO was widely viewed as mixed. The company tripled sales and doubled profits. but lost its market dominance and missed out on 21st century technology trends, such as the ascendance of smartphones in the form of iPhone and Android. What? Androids have been around forever. People forget. I mean, most of my colleagues, most of my work colleagues were getting Blackberries in like 2006, 2005. I was like late on the train and getting one in 2009. I mean, I was like behind the curve. And the problem with that was that I kept getting them ripped off. One I dropped in my dishwater. And no, it never dried out, didn't work. I spent way too much money in way too short a time on those damn things. So I said, I'm just not going to, I mean, and then I had one that I temporarily deactivated because I wanted to go to another carrier. So I actually paid off Verizon. I paid him like almost $200 to get out of the contract. And I put it in a drawer in my desk, and I moved, and one of the movers stole it. And that guy, I will never forget him. He was just an evil piece of shit. Damaged half my furniture, weighed about 300 pounds, could barely do the job. I offered him some orange juice or something like that. He drank the entire carton, then proceeded to go in my bathroom, take a huge shit, and then said, "Well, okay, let's get ready to work," like that. I mean, and then he steals my phone. Plus, I gave him something I decided I didn't want to take with me, and I said, it's yours if you want it. A couple of things actually, and it wasn't cheap shit. It was furniture stuff. So, yeah, piece of garbage that guy was. Okay, well that's nice, but he. So, is the friend that hired this Burgum guy? Yeah, there we go. Here, I'll read this sentence. Stephen Anthony Ballmer was born in March 24, 1956 in Detroit, Michigan, and as the son of Beatrice Dworkin and Frederick Henry Fitzhans Ballmer, a manager at Ford Motor Company. Frederick was from Zutschwil, Switzerland, and arrived in the U.S. in 1948. He is Jewish. Steve's mother was the daughter of Samuel Dworkin, a Russian Jew who fled to the U.S. in 1914. Okay. There we go. So it's interesting. Getting back to Burgum, it doesn't really say much about his background and his parents' background, and well, let me see. Burgum has set a goal for North Dakota to become carbon neutral by 2030. All right, so I'm going to read this again. Uniquely among Republicans, Burgum has set a goal for North Dakota to become carbon neutral by 2030. He plans to pursue this goal while maintaining a robust fossil fuel industry. So wait a minute. So there's all this fracking going on in North Dakota, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you something. that part of the business shit that happened in North Dakota. I'm going to go ahead and tell you. I remember, and I know that that moved that state to a different level, because it was a pretty level hick when I went through there the first few times, in the late 90s. I mean, it was like nothing. And now it's built up, and it's, I think, doesn't Keystone run there? You know what? I can't remember. I just know that I know a lot about this. So, um, through the use of carbon capture and storage technology to capture and sequester carbon dioxide in the state's geologic formations. My husband's a geologist, and this is why I know a lot of this shit. He supports the use of carbon dioxide for enhanced oil recovery, the process by which carbon dioxide is injected into depleted oil fields to boost production. He supports agricultural practices that store carbon in soil. The announcement of the goal sparked $25 billion in private sector investment, according to remarks he made at the annual meeting in North Dakota Petroleum Council. He was reelected in 2020 with over 65% of the vote. He vetoed a bill to raise the state interstate speed limit to 80 miles an hour. Why? Why though? You see what I'm saying? It'll say stuff, and then it's like, why did he veto the bill? Because they have that in, I think, well, I think Montana, isn't that reasonable and prudent still, or did they change that? I know in South Dakota, I mean, I got so used to driving 80 miles an hour, and then I flew through Minnesota, which is just a shithole. And then, I mean, it just is. It's so annoying. By the time I got to Wisconsin, it was really hard for me to slow down, you know. I nearly got pulled over. I got tailed by at least one squad. Anyway, well, that was before I had my accident. I went on my camping trip to Wyoming and South Dakota. Um, well, he set a goal for North Dakota to become carbon neutral by 2030. Well, let's find an article on that. Uh, oh my God. Ugh. Let's see, carbon neutral by 2030, which is not what Trump is for. You see what I'm saying? You know, if he's got an MBA, I mean, oh man, what the flying fuck? So he's no different than Biden or AOC. Oh, okay. Well, I didn't want it, the Twitter page here. We'll just save this article. Uh, all right. So before you're rah-rahing him, I don't like the way the guy looks. He needs a haircut. And I don't mean like a Trey Gowdy cut. And honestly, I am completely checked out if it's Tulsi Gabbard. She is just the worst. In 2020, I was following her Twitter. I was following anything she had published in newspapers. She refused. She in the whole time Trump was president, she refused to call him the president. She refused to call him Trump. She called him Dumpf, DUMF. And any comments, I will remove and block you if you on that. I just think that's like totally disrespectful. That would be like don't we have any decorum anymore in like in government or any just is just can there just be a shadow of something? Because Diaper Joe and all his crap and him being on speed. No, I mean obviously he is. Come on. I mean, how am I supposed to cope? Is the average person honestly supposed to cope with some of this crap? I swear. It's stressful when you're out here. Um. All right. Well. Well. Okay. So. Oh, and this was in May 2021. Now, what does that mean? So it's the nation's second largest oil producing state. See, I'm not carbon neutral. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really even know what that means. Don't criticize me, but what does it mean? Um, uh, well, he's got enough money. He doesn't need to worry about a damn thing. So, um, I just don't like the guy. So we're going to just end it there. And should we put up his Wikipedia page here? I just don't like the guy, okay? I don't really, I don't really know that much about him. I just know that he gives me a bad feeling. And with close to 400 million people in this country with all the illegals in here, so we'll say 350 million. Maybe 360. He chooses this guy? Oh, here's his logo for his race against Trump. He primaried Trump. And if Trump would have been on that stage, he would have ripped him a new asshole. Because that's what Trump does. Something is so wrong. Um, he has expressed support for the U.S. Supreme Court's Dobbs decision. Okay, well, there's nothing wrong with states' choice. That's what our whole country has been founded on. He said the president should not focus on culture war issues. Oh, what does that mean exactly? Burgum sought to play up his stance as a hawk toward China by speaking of a Cold War with China. I don't like this guy. He began offering $20 gift cards for a donation of any amount to his. So he paid for votes? It was an attempt to reach the threshold of individual donors required to participate in the first Republican primary debate. Oh, okay. Whoa. So on July 10th, 2023, he began offering $20 gift cards for a donation of any amount to his primary campaign. A spokesman for Burgum acknowledged that it was an attempt to reach the threshold of individual donors required to participate in the first Republican primary debate. Okay, do you get that? His scheme was successful. So what he did was said, you give me $1, I'll give you a gift card for $20. What a sleaze bag. Ugh. Despite its success, the scheme was ridiculed on social media, with some users declaring that they had donated $1 to Burgum and $20 to Joe Biden. So they took the $1 of Burgum's and took the 20 and then put it in Biden's reelection campaign. Federal election officials have not said whether this and similar fundraising by other candidates is illegal. Burgum also qualified for the second debate held on September 27th. He failed to qualify for the November 5th debate in Miami. Then he announced he was suspending his campaign, citing frustration with the RNC's high threshold of donations and polling to qualify for debates. Okay, so you guys, this during oh during his campaign, Burgum said he would not accept the vice presidency or a cabinet position if he was not nominated for president. So he was widely expected at the time to seek a third term as governor in 2024. And now he's not seeking a third term. And then right before the Iowa caucuses, he endorsed Trump. Wait a minute. So Burgum's a liar? He's a cheat with how he got his money? Oh my God, he is worse than Pence. Well, not worse than Pence. Pence is just pedo Pence, you know? I mean, that guy ran a big ring. I still have those videos on private, you know, the interviews of Robert David Steele on Alex Jones when Alex Jones was still cool. Unless Google pulled them down and deleted them forever, which I wouldn't doubt. Well, we have some problems here. Uh, okay, so, wow. He's a sleazebag. Okay, I'm going to end it because I need to get some air before it gets too late.